You are now tuned in to Uptown Talk.
If you are listening to these voices and are wondering who the hell are these people, it's us. It's Uptown Talk. Well, also, if you are and have been an avid listener to other podcasts that we have had, we back. It's 2024.
We back.
What's going on? What's going on?
We in the building.
word?
We here.
It's good. Sorry, y'all.
What the?
I'm bad. I was calling a deer. I was calling like a deer in the headlights. Just now.
He was taking in the moment. He was taking in the fact that we are actually back. It's 2024, and yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
first
New
of
Year,
all.
everybody.
Happy
What's
New Year.
going on?
Happy New Year.
But yeah, it's definitely been some time for a minute since we last did this whole podcast thing. I just wanted to. It's just crazy thinking about it, like where the industry has gone. Like when you're talking about podcasting and just how it's grown since when we first had this idea. Like which I feel like it was like 2018.
18.
Yeah, like 2018 was the
2018.
first time that we kind of had an idea about wanting to do a podcast, just sitting up in our rooms and we like down in the basement and shit, just kicking it, having fun, talking about shit, laughing. Like, yo, why don't we just start a fucking podcast or something like that?
It's crazy even bringing that up because I was looking up on the YouTube when the last time we actually uploaded a podcast was January 27th, 2021. It's coming up on 3 years. And, during that time, even like 2018 time, the podcast scene was it was somewhat still fresh. Like, because, going back to other podcasts, not trying to promote other podcasts like that, but other podcasts was like really bringing like different deals. I'm thinking about different like Spotify deals, different like Apple deals, like different type of collaborations that was happening. And now it's a lot of different assets being added to different podcasts now in different spaces. Like you see cross promotion, you see other art like amongst my brothers on the platform. So
Yeah, one thing I see that's like really making a big splash on the scene is like the notoriety, where there's like clips going viral with like outlandish takes or like podcasts really becoming famous off of that. So I think that we're trying to find that medium where like we can just be our authentic selves without having to like be outlandish to garner views or to get attention. We don't want that type of attention. So I'm anxious to see like how we bring the dynamic back.
Yeah, just trying to avoid all the clickbait nonsense.
Yeah.
I think it's also too, like, for us having like this podcast and having like this space to just kind of talk about things that mean the world to us, stuff that's like really important to us. It's what we're starting to find, like with this new form of media, like just like in any industry, you're able to carve out your own like particular niches or niche. Yeah, your own niche or your own lane. And I think it's the same thing for us. Like this is the first episode we've had in a really long time, and as time goes on, you're just going to see us like elevate and evolve as this whole process goes through. But at the same time, like we're opening this space to have it be something authentic, to have it be something that we could the authenticity starts with us just having space to be able to talk about our views on where's life taking us, where how we've grown. A lot of us we're about to be in our 30s, and we're trying to.
Y'all about to be in your 30s.
You're literally probably like 2 weeks younger than me.
You're the
So
second
I
oldest.
said y'all about to be in your 30s.
I said we ain't doing okay, but
I'm 24.
but my whole thing is that like with us entering like this new age, like 30 and shit, it's like looking back. Like it's a lot of looking back, and we've all been friends for what 10 plus years now. Like
Definitely.
literally,
half my life.
word.
Definitely, most definitely.
I'm about to say, I was really just thinking about that. Like, damn near half my life, like, I've known these dudes. And it's just, I don't know, like, man, it's something to be back just kind of just shooting the shit and talking about stuff that actually matters to us.
Yeah, definitely. talking about like the whole aspect of growing with the podcast space, and like with us, because I'm thinking about like when we last was speaking, like it was very heavy on like current topics. Even if like let's say we bring up current topics, we want to add like our unique spin on things and give a different perspective from our a place where it's it's personalized, and it's it's not like it's not so much attention grabbing is in that aspect, but it's more like it's more relatable to our lives, and it just comes from a place where we could just say like, yo, like we went through this, and this like I'm trying to think, for example, like a person like that was just kind of like in the media, like not bringing up Drake right now, but like the situation, like as far as like hip hop has been a heavy influence in our lives, and the conversation. Shoot, I just lost the train of my train of thought.
Bottom line, if you're looking for us to talk about Blueface, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm about to say we're not like trying to have
Krishan on the docket.
Yeah, I'm about to say
You can talk to if you can talk about her if you want to.
I'm not.
And we're gonna cut your mic off.
Yeah, she's literally the worst. Like I look at her on Twitter, I look at like tweets and stuff. I'm not calling it X.
I was about to say we literally just said we're not about to talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is some of the worst internet garbage that I've ever like partaken in, and I feel embarrassed when I actually like look at videos.
It's not. I mean, but it's not your fault. I think the way algorithms, all this stuff, whatever this agenda is, it's like you almost can't escape it. You know what I'm saying?
The algorithms almost found you.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
mean,
I'm
but
saying? Like,
it's just, I mean, I think, and this is a conspiracy type thing, but I just think they propel that information to us to be dumbed down and not paying attention to stuff that's actually happening in the world. You get what I'm saying? Like, so much things going on, whether it be like, Palestine, Israel conflict, the tunnels under New York and stuff like that.
That was major.
Democratic Congo being like just massacred over there, and even stuff that's going on with Europe, like, and just about how obviously Great Britain has been like historically like kind of racist, but it's a bunch of stuff going on over there. And we're just not paying attention to it because we're hooked on, Krishan, Young Thug case. There's a bunch of stuff that it's like, I don't know. We're in a world where we're looking at very small, minute details and making it as if they're the big picture about things. Like, this isn't life.
But going back to what Quan said, I think, like, even how we'll differ from the last time we were shooting, I think what we can offer that's most valuable is our perspectives, like, on, like, what we actually lived. And even if we're talking about these things, it's because they've affected us and, like, we've actually seen, like, our personal growth and development, like, around this society, like, trying to live amongst this society, trying to live in all of those different subject matters and different contents that, like, seem to captivate everybody else. So
yeah, no, I kind of feel like I'm having like this epiphany, like while we're even just talking now, and I'm just like, I feel like this space is just for us to like the four black men just giving our perspective, but also too like with this thing we're in a stage of just like open creative liberty. Like whatever this is going to turn out to be, you guys are watching it in full, in real time. Like where we're moving, the topics that we talk about, like we have an outline of things, but the way this thing is going to evolve and the way that we want to like move forward for this go around is like us saying like, hey, like we really want to be very introspective in this next chapter. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about the ways in which we're like looking at life going forward. Talib just got fucking married. Like, my girlfriend Kayla, she has an apartment now. Like, things have changed dramatically from the last time we've done a podcast. So like, I'm thinking now, and I'm just like, because you go through these episodes and you're kind of like, yo, like, why? What am I what is the structure going to look like? And I'm just like, this is going to morph as we go.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have like, but just know that we're looking to be very like, we're looking to go deeper and like talk about just the ways in which us as 4 black men, you know, from Newark, living in the inner city, you know, trying to figure out this shit called life. Like,
It's
Oh,
my bad. I was about to say it's just funny too because this is why I guess why we're having the podcast because of how sometimes we have very differentiating opinions. Because whereas, you know, you're like for example, you know, me, I'm more of a person that when we do the podcast, I want to have some sense of a structure with it, and I also appreciate having it going some type of way. You get what I'm saying? So, and I know, you know, I think that's part of like us building the podcast too, because it's conflicting ideas. Whereas, you know, one end, Sean is like more of a, okay, we're going to let it form. Me, I'm kind of a like, no, well, we have to at least try to put this plan together, and somehow we're still doing a podcast with very differentiating ideas with certain things.
Yeah, like even talking like piggybacking on what Sean was just saying as far as like the different spaces that we're in. Like for me, like speaking on my past 2023, coming into 2024. I lost a lot of weight. Like my physical transformation has, you know, been a big deal in my life. It's something I put emphasis on. You know, losing 50 pounds and, you know, just changing my mentality. It's funny, going back to social media, I seen something that was trending on social media, girls putting up like BBL allegations as far as like the progress they want to see in the gym. And it just goes to the point of, I mean, it's funny to say that, but I see a lot of men and women attacking the gym, and it's becoming trendy. Like it's not even just the sense of the new year, new me, new new body and stuff like that. But it's actually people are actually taking the time, getting with personal trainers, you know, changing their eating habits. I mean, people still consuming alcohol and stuff like that, and you know, indulging and stuff like that. But actually having like you know, the foresight to actually go on the weekends, you know, dedicate themselves, even in this, you know, the crazy weather we've been having up north right now. So
it's crazy. I'm gonna just add this in. I know you wanted to say something, Sean, but this like don't necessarily have anything to do with well, it kind of does, but man, this New Year's resolution crew is ridiculous at this.
I mean, that's like, I feel like that's been a thing since.
I know.
Since
January
they started making gyms.
Exactly.
January is always rough for people who actually go to the gym because it's like everybody who wanted to
I
do
feel like
New Year's resolution.
any industry that has something where it's like self-improvement around like the New Year's, they always need like big business. Like
Wait, like what else?
I'm just thinking about anything that has like something with self-improvement, like you know, fucking hiring agencies get flooded around the New Year's. Niggas are trying to find a new job, like or a new year, like I'm gonna get some,
okay.
yeah, like you know the gym.
Travel
Hires.
agencies.
Yeah,
a lot
like-
of people say they're going into the year, want to travel
What's
more.
it called?
do
Freaking
more.
LLC businesses, like people
Yeah.
that track LLCs. That shit probably goes through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, like the New Year's
man,
people have
going to school and just to collect the refund check.
Wait, what?
The refund check.
I did that. I mean, no,
lot
I
of
actually
people were doing-
graduated, but
a
I
lot of
did,
people- a lot of people were
I
doing
did
that.
go for that refund check.
But wait, I don't think they give you that check around New Year's, do they?
Not well. I mean, not around New Year's, but I mean,
They
you
give
have
it to you like
Are
a
you
couple
talking about
weeks.
niggas using the
Yeah,
fund?
you
You know what I'm
you
saying?
get it
Just
in a
funds.
couple weeks in.
Yeah, in a couple weeks in, like
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
what I'm
well,
saying?
yeah, you
Like,
already know that.
yeah.
Shoot.
After you hit that
So-
refund check, you really know if you dedicated to school or not. Should be like, you see that comment? I was like, damn, I ain't gotta go to economics no more.
Niggas go take it and run and get some work.
Yeah, nah. Get some work. Forget that.
Even a mafia also movie or some shit.
Word, forget that. We going to Neiman Marcus.
I'm gonna kill the whole D.
Word.
Also, too, we can't be saying like Quan's like, yeah, I seen on social media. I'm like, bro, we are not that fucking old. Like, you gotta name the site, please.
Man, these youngsters be having my head going.
Oh, God. That was the old. Yeah, I be hearing.
it be good.
Bro, no, bro. Honestly, think about it, bro. Somebody who's born in 2000 and what, 2006 is turning 18 this year.
That nigga's about to
I'm 10 years older than that person.
He was like, yeah, so I was on the internet yesterday.
Bro,
The World Wide Web.
Word, stop acting old. Like some people, like we not old.
No, but I always say we're the best. Like, we have the best view of everything because we're still like hip enough to understand all this new shit.
Bro, what are we doing?
But
You
like-
did not just say hip, bro. What are we doing?
Listen,
Niggas is getting old in real
this is the
time.
perfect way to summarize it, right? I got Instagram now, but back then I had AIM.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah, so-
never had AIM.
Okay.
See, you
Okay,
you had to
wait.
be there.
I had AOL. Sorry,
I
just
had
remembered.
all
just remembered.
that. I had MySpace.
Yo,
What was
AIM.
your email?
My email on AOL was
say it
was
like that?
bballtalib@aol.com.
You know what's funny? My AOL wasn't much better.
what?
It was, and you gonna know because it was gonna sound real crazy. It's Big Bang 7SS3 at AOL.com.
Yo, why in the fuck would you call yourself Big Bang?
I mean, Vegeta had an attack called Big Bang.
See, that's a true 90s
And then
kid,
and then
Okay.
7SS3 Super Saiyan 3, and I was 7 years old when I made it.
Oh, it's a story.
I was 7 years Big Bang Vegeta. I was 7 years old. Super Saiyan 3. Come on now.
Which attack was that?
Huh?
Because I thought Vegeta had special being.
Big Bang attack.
Nah, that's Piccolo.
Oh, I'm
Whoa.
Yeah, you tripping.
Wait, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, what was Vegeta's?
He had
Bang.
Galagun and Big Big Bang.
Was it Big Bang Attack?
Yeah, Big Bang attack.
Okay.
I trust me. I played Budokai Tenkaichi enough.
Oh man.
See, you had to be there.
You
Just had to be
different
there.
times.
They're making a new one, by the way.
I saw it. I wasn't like. I mean, no. Matter of fact, I think it was cool.
I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, I will.
I feel like that's the perfect summary though for where we're at. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we have one of the best viewpoints on what's happening now because of where we've been, where we come
Where
from.
we watched Dragon Ball Z, and we watched Naruto.
Yeah.
And
watched-
Naruto's even low key kind of old now because you gotta really, if you're talking about the newer ones, about Jujutsu Kaisen.
No,
but we're
I
not
knew
gonna
you
go
was
into
about to say
anime
that.
No, but all right.
or Demon Slayer.
The thing about it, like with what Talib was talking about, though, is we have like, because I was watching something, they were talking about, you know how podcasts is always talking about dating and everything's about dating content and stuff, but they were saying like how, at least for like our age group, we do remember a time before social media. Like I do remember a time before social media, and even when social media started, it was in its rudimentary stages. It wasn't like what it is now.
But I mean, it's only what we remember prior to social media is very limited. Like, yeah, we remember a time before social media, but do we really remember dating before social media?
No,
we was like 12.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But
Yeah.
who was really dating?
No,
I mean,
I'm
I know that's what I'm saying. We don't remember. Like that's
I'm
what
talking about serious dating.
and
bro.
that's
Like,
what I'm
not-
saying. We didn't
not
really,
like-
we don't,
not
we
puppy
don't,
love.
we didn't really have dating without social media.
I know.
There's certain parts that we know, and like because when we were younger, we thought this is how it was, and then social media happened. But we remember the expectation of what dating was.
But-
Oh, we gonna go to the club and bag a girl, and now you know the club is all about sections because of social media. Because everybody's recording the bottles coming out. I was like, oh, I gotta go get some bottles now.
We
Nigga.
can't really say that though, because shit, we didn't know I didn't know what the club looked like when I was younger. Like I had no idea. Like
Wait,
we was-
define younger.
I mean, shit, when I was
15.
man, shit, I didn't know what the fucking club looked like till I got in that motherfucker. Like,
I ain't gonna hold you. I used to get in the club at like 16, 17.
niggas
But that's
had-
because of Doom.
It was no sections before.
They had sections, but it was like
I was like, what was niggas doing
and
before?
people actually enjoyed being like on the floor, going, working the bar. People was like nasty dancing.
No,
Like, and
okay.
doing-
It's funny when I actually hear people talk about like the club setting back then. They actually talk about people not to like devalue people, but they talked about the section was actually for people of status.
Yeah.
You get a certain type of status.
Yeah.
It wasn't just now. It's just like you can just buy your way in. You get what I'm saying?
Anybody
Like
get-
yeah, anybody can get in at that point.
I mean,
Like,
it's one of those things too, though. When you think about, oh shoot, I was gonna say like going back to how in the social media age in which that we were at, I remember a time before before celebrities had to have a social media account. Remember, like there was a time before where like, you know, fucking big name superstars or whatever, they had websites. Like, oh, go to their websites and shit. Now, like, there was a time where we saw in real live motion, like, oh shit, like celebrities actually getting on social media, actually having like social media managers, and people like that being the main way of communication. Like, so we saw social media grow, but we also do remember a time before, like, I think there's something very different than getting social media when you're 12 and 13 than when you're growing up, literally in like going to school and elementary school growing up. There's a difference in like being born into it than getting it when you're older.
It's funny. You
already. I don't want to cut you off.
No,
I just want to say this last
good.
part. You already have like implanted ideas of how to engage with another human being around 12, 13. And anything you get after that from social media, okay, but your foundation, you already have a foundation in how to interact. A lot of these kids don't have a foundation in how to interact with other people.
Like the preconceived notions and how to navigate and really interact, and just like, because I see the kids now, like when you see them out in like settings, unless they just completely just know the person, if they're out and about, everybody's just stuck in the wall. Nobody, a young guy is just not just walking up to a girl and just casually dancing with them, or like it's not really interactive. It's just like everybody is just stagnated. Everybody's in the corner. It's not really interaction like that. It's not really those types of vibes. And bro, I'm even thinking about the house parties. Like, yo, when we was younger, the house parties we used to have and stuff, like people really migrating together and everybody being cool and everybody being calm. It was always violence, but it just seems like a lot of the violence is even like heightened because people don't know how to. A lot of young people, they're socially awkward. They're very socially awkward. Like,
They don't know how to vibe together.
Exactly.
I mean, violence is something that, like, I feel like the violence has always been there. I mean, the violence is always, like, from a community standpoint, the violence is just there. It's ever present. But I just think, just on just a social level, like, kids finding ways to engage with each other. But, I think it's a weird thing where you have a generation that has like all types of knowledge at their fingertips, where I feel like we kind of, because now we didn't have social media, but also too, we're a different generation because we're the first generation that grew up basically with the internet. Like, we saw the internet become like the birth of the internet. We grew up in the internet age.
That we're separate from the internet.
What you mean?
Like, I don't like internet isn't like our identity. Like, we remember dial-up, and sometimes not being able to get access to an internet or not. You get what I'm saying?
I
Like,
feel like we
We're just not having a phone.
But
yeah,
no,
but that's not, when I say but when I say it now, like, for example, when you're talking about the dating stuff, like in Instagram, like when we first started on Instagram was like low key, even before Instagram, really having that MySpace, that was like decorating like a locker or something like that in high college. Granted, I know you never decorated
Like
high
expression.
Yeah, it was an expression.
Yeah.
I never
But
even
now,
had a MySpace, to be honest with you, too. I never even had a
No,
MySpace.
I've never
to be
had a
completely
MySpace.
honest with you.
Missed
Never, bro.
you
Yeah, I
missed a
never
good
had
time in
MySpace.
Yeah,
life.
we gotta
Never.
flip the couch in half.
Yeah, nah, I ain't gonna. You missed a good time in life.
Yeah,
You
I
remember?
know.
You don't.
Yeah.
So you ain't never put music on your
Bro, I never
on
had
your
a
So you
page?
never had a
MySpace.
top 5?
No, 'cause
Oh God!
you gotta think like for
Never had a Tumblr, none
Like,
of that shit.
What? Well, I can understand Tumblr,
Yeah,
but
But you gotta think too, like also like for me growing up, it was one of those things too. We was like hella in the church.
Yeah,
too,
I was thinking about that,
like,
too,
it
yeah,
was
that's a
certain-
factor,
It was
yeah.
certain shit like I didn't start listening to like hip hop heavy till like I'm gonna say like 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah, like fifth
probably
grade
7th,
for me.
8th grade. That's when I started first listening to hip hop and shit like that.
Mm.
So. It was a couple things that I missed. Now I was definitely the first social media I ever had was
Facebook.
Facebook for sure.
was
Facebook.
Facebook.
For me.
I think in Kick, But Kick wasn't really like a social.
Kick was a
like
messenger.
It was a
Like
messenger.
Messenger, yeah.
It was a
I was about to
messenger.
say.
That was different.
Yeah, my first jump was MySpace.
But also too, that's another thing.
Nah,
too.
it was another one before MySpace.
But you know,
I can't
but I
remember
want to
what
say
it was
this
called.
too. Like we grew up in that age too, where we were trying to figure out how to like engage. So we grew up in a time of like trying to figure out how to engage with the internet. Like it's like these kids, all the mechanisms are already there for them. Like it's literally just foundational. You have to know how to work the internet nowadays. Like, and it's very easy with like iPhones and everything. But for us, it wasn't like that. We still had to kind of like figure out like how are we engaging with this thing that we can't see, but we have all this information and data inside of it that we could find that's readily available.
And
for
it's funny. I don't even think we really know how to engage with the internet like that. Like, our idea of engaging with the internet is going through our phone and doing that stuff. But a lot of people don't. I won't say don't know how to use a computer, but there's a lot of people who really don't know the true power of being able to use a computer. Like, everybody's on their phone, and it's like, yeah, it's all this information and access, but you know, the true ability to apply what you learn and a lot of stuff, it's like you have to use a computer, and that's what I think. That's why sometimes the phone is not the greatest sometimes, because it's making us think we're like, you know, oh, we're so good with technology, and it's like, no, you're good with a phone. A computer, what a phone is, but a very small and simple and limited version of a computer. It's like, that's where you're really gonna be able to, like, you know, you see people take over the world. Yeah, it's through a computer.
I think thinking about it in like a macro sense though, and this is just me, like the way I would view it, like why I view, like we have to also understand like these things are like very, very new. Like the internet, like yeah, it seems like a long time, which is what, like you talking about like the late 90s or whatever the internet starts to blast off. That's what 30 years ago. That's not a long time. That's not really that long a time. Like imagine like what the internet and like the technology that we have right now, what it looks like in 100 years. You know, just from where if you look at the world 100 years ago, it is totally different than what it looks like now. Like it is, for some, it's certain things in the world now that people back then probably feel is unrecognizable. They would not.
Yeah, but
100 years ago, everybody wore pants.
What the way you hold?
Huh?
Everybody wore pants. What are you talking about?
There wasn't even no skirts and nothing.
Oh, what the
What
fuck?
are you talking about? Is the woman wore a skirt? The woman actually did wear a skirt. The women weren't allowed to wear pants.
Word.
Or
Yeah, you got that history like literally flipped on its head.
Word. I was about to say.
I don't know.
My boy ignorant right now. Yeah, nah.
I know you grew up in the Industrial Revolution.
I read my history book.
Clinton Seymour.
Sorry.
Man grew up in the Harlem
Susan B.
Renaissance.
Listen, man. Susan
You were
B.
there during
Anthony
Tulsa?
fought to wear pants. Okay. Nah, but to what we were saying before, like the internet has, I think that it has so much exponential growth. I think, and that's what it's like. With everything that happened, like with technology before, it was like gradual, but like even today, I was just talking to my coworker. He was just like about how fast social media has like developed in a matter of months to weeks. It's like, you know, we gotta look through tutorials to catch up on this algorithm stuff, and then now you got AI and all these other different things.
That's different.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like at this point, y'all, we better start learning some of this stuff because.
I mean, I don't agree with that because, like I said, I feel like that's why our perspective is so unique because we're at the age where like we understand it, but we also know life without it. So I think that people in our generation, like, we're able to make a choice on like what you want the internet to do for you. You know, like when I see like Sean's Instagram, like I see like freedom of expression. You know, like I don't look at your page and be like, oh, I know who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not showing like your family and what you do for a living and all. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like your social media or like how you represent yourself isn't about like through status. You know, I feel like nowadays,
ideas.
yeah, it's more ideas, more creativity. You know, like like with Quan, like I feel like Quan talks more about like, you know, he motivates the people. You show what you've been through in your personal life. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. I feel like people in our demographic, in our age, in our even with our mindset, you don't have to like value yourself through the internet, you know, or like through your status. Like I don't need to show that like I'm valuable or like, you know, let other people know that I'm successful or something based on like how I look on social media or on the internet.
I think that's more to. I don't know how to put it if you're saying expression, because you're saying with Rashawn, and Rashawn's Instagram is more related to his personality. Rashawn's not extroverted. He's kind of introverted, but he does have ideas. He posts things like pictures and things like that and other stuff that he likes. But if you ever notice, he really doesn't post himself. You get what I'm saying? Quan is into fitness. He posts the stuff about fitness and motivating. You get what I'm saying? Same with me. I'm like more like I'm introverted, extrovert. So I do put a lot of stuff out, but I just like because I create certain things. I like making videos. I like putting pictures. Yeah, it's
Give me
yeah.
lifestyle.
My lifestyle.
But I feel like we have a choice to make it like what you want to be. You know, I feel like that's ultimately the difference between us and the next generation. To be heard, you know, versus like people like us. Like I said, you can still make it your you can still make it your reality. You have life outside of the internet.
I think also too though, but even with us, like that's why I said also too, like this podcast is I always keep going back to it just being, it's going to be morphing, like it's going to evolve as time goes on, because for us, like to get the podcast out, to like have it get to for people to hear it, we have to like learn new ways to like engage with social media too, like, and that's one thing that I'm learning in real time, like how to engage with social media a certain type of way, because also too, like you get into the habit of like sometimes not engaging on online but being in it, you know, and it's like it could be a catch-22, because if you're engaging in it and on it, like that's a whole another level of dedication to it. But for most of us, sometimes you just get stuck in it, and for me, it's one of those things where it's ubiquitous, like the internet, social media is just around.
I was about to say, explain that word ambiguous.
Ubiquitous means that it's just everywhere. It's you can't escape it, basically. So like it's something that you can't get past it. It's all around. For the most part, it's just about like how do you find ways to like engage with it, but not like have it be, you know, like you said, like your value engulf you, but you do want to learn how to engage with it. Like for me, like I love YouTube. Like I'm a YouTube junkie. I'm definitely like a YouTube junkie, and whether I'm watching like lectures and shit or people, that's my way of trying to like engage with like the internet or certain things. Watching videos and that shit. So it's all about how like you want to engage with it. I think we were saying all of this to talk about how this whole conversation was circling around how we're engaging, I guess, basically like with the podcast and how
spin down to something.
Yeah, how you know, and how our perspective is informing the podcast.
Well, you added this to the topic list?
Yeah,
I think it's more about how like the world has shaped our, you know, opinions and how we live now. You know,
social media will now be a part of that.
Yeah, social media is definitely a part.
Unless something else can take control, and I don't know what it would be. But
yeah, exactly. Like we gotta have something. You know, we gotta.
You think anything will ever outdo Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, definitely.
Yeah,
because I mean, at a point, it was like we said before. At a point, it was MySpace. At a point, it was Facebook that was driving things. And I mean, even bro, I'll be honest with you, it's not the near future, but I can see people starting to just use YouTube more and getting more deep into like the conspiracies and like the theories and getting
No,
more.
people have been doing that.
But I see.
I know,
My
but
thing
I'm talking
is,
about getting more heavy
my-
into it.
my
though.
thing is-
because it was a point where it was super. It
Cliche.
It was cliche, but it was like the high point. It seemed like it started dwindling down, and then people started to use it as like it was like, oh wow, like the conspiracy theories. It was like
frowned upon.
Yeah, it was kind of frowned upon. People was looking at it like sideways.
I don't think you actually like take into account how heavy Americans are into conspiracy theories. Like that shit. I mean, you see it all the time when they talk about shit like damn, I guess it's not a conspiracy. I don't fucking know. But with aliens and shit like that, that was like a whole like there'd be like whole industries for stuff like that. Now, I will say that I do believe that there is life out there in the universe or whatever. Like I don't feel like that's a controversial thing to say, but it's a whole industry for stuff like that. Like a whole industry for like these different like wacky, ideas and conspiracy people come out. So that's literally that's been there for a lot. Like America believes in a lot of like hoax and shit like that. Like, whatever like misinformation comes up, a lot of America, their pastime is to like eat it up and like create some type of movement behind it.
it's because we bored.
Yeah, that's
But I mean, also, I don't know. YouTube is just a place for people to stir everybody's like, I don't know what's it called. Their I guess deepest fears and the thoughts and stuff like that. I mean, the reason I was asking with the whole Instagram takeover Instagram because Instagram is one of the most adaptive and evolving social media that we've probably seen. I don't know if you've seen how, like, for example, MySpace wasn't really... Once MySpace had their thing and kept it moving. The same thing with Facebook.
Same thing with Twitter.
But Facebook... And then really it's honestly just Facebook. But Facebook bought Instagram and then doing all the adaptive stuff and keeping Facebook for the older people and Instagram for the younger people. And, Instagram really is like whatever any other... whatever any other social media platform does, Instagram steals that shit and then just incorporates it. And we complain about it like, oh yeah, Instagram done stole this. And then we get over and start doing all that stuff.
Because it has so much, I mean, it's captured so much of, everybody has an Instagram. Like,
yeah.
You can't, like, and then also, too, Instagram be connected to all, like the dating sites and shit like that, too. Like
Dating sites, businesses, all that stuff. I'm
yeah,
like, it's crazy how you get a job now and they want to look at your Instagram.
Exactly.
What?
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
What?
stuff.
But that speaks to the point I was telling because ultimately with like this new generation, Instagram, social media, like it's starting to become a representation of who a person is. So why wouldn't your job go and look at your Instagram? Because most people show the best of themselves through their Instagram. You see, like, so if your job going there and see you talking, something that you obviously passionate about, like, and it doesn't agree with their principles, like, that's like one of the biggest showcases of who a person is.
What if I'm just trying to confuse the ops?
I
don't know.
I
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, like, confuse the enemy, man. Like,
Who's the enemy, though?
hey, man, don't worry about my ops
What?
before you come my op.
Oh. I guess. I mean, I guess that's just what's going to happen. I guess we're at odds.
Listen, I think the place where I'm at is like I wouldn't need a social media if it wasn't so much for like the information that's out there. Like social media, especially like in the last year, like
entertainment too.
But even the entertainment, like the entertainment, I feel like now has become, like I said, what's most notorious. Like what was one of the biggest things we see in 2023 that y'all could think of?
What?
Remember that brawl they had at that like dock?
Oh yeah.
You talking about Aquaman?
You talking about the Montgomery?
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about the Montgomery chair brawl. You see, like stuff like that. Like that's what's becoming entertainment because it's intertwined with like the violence
It was
that you
whooping
talked
that
about,
ass, though.
that's
I was
always
happy
there.
about that.
That was definitely a win in our community.
Like everyone's
That
seen
white
that
chair is hanging
video
on someone's wall.
or in somebody's closet.
No, for real.
Everybody's seen that video. Like now I feel like the entertainment had just become like what's most notorious at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
But stuff every other reel.
Yeah.
You see, like you can make your social media or your internet work for you. That's why I feel like that's the difference. I feel like while other generations, you know, their social media controls them or influences like what they have to do, what they feel like they have to do. I feel like people our age, we can still take back that control. You can still have life outside. You know, like when you go to work out at the gym, you setting your tripod up to film your content, but don't get it twisted though. Like you doing all your reps. You see what I'm saying? And you getting the results in real life. Some of these people,
He not doing them reps.
nah, he doing the reps. Don't make him take off the jacket.
He doing.
Put some
he-
respect on his name.
Nah, he doing the 10 reps then leaving.
But see, some people do that, and at the end of the day, because social media is whatever you want it to be, it don't even matter that they're not doing the reps.
In the words of my black youngster, get your fat ass up.
It's funny.
Get your fat ass up and go run.
I'm gonna let Tosin live because Tosin think a cool 2 weeks back in the gym because he came back from Africa. He think he got it right now, but you feel me? I've been doing this. I'm true to this, you know. But anyway, it's funny. Just touching on what Talib is saying, like the education, information is just so key, and I think TikTok changed my perception a lot because when I started to really like tap in and to really influence my own algorithms and really like put out like as far as like workout videos, like real estate budgeting and stuff like that, and seeing like all the information that was on TikTok and like the length of the like the videos, I was like, wow, like it's really good information out there. And because before I had like a notion that TikTok was just, you know, dancing videos and like club music on there and stuff like that, and just, you know, people
Just niggatry.
yeah, like people into like things definitely that wasn't like for my taste buds and stuff like that, you know. So
You was doing those everybody.
smacking my sides and stuff.
I know you was practicing in the house. It's okay. Listen, man, I accept you as you are.
Spit a new coupe on my pod. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, no, I was damn it. It was something that I was just thinking about, and it was right at the top of my head, and I literally had a whole way of how I was going to introduce
Come
it.
on, bring it in.
Bring it in, huddle up.
This is like our shoot around.
Yeah, no,
know.
for real, because
We gonna get back into the flow.
God damn it. But I was gonna say something about it was something. Oh, okay. Shoot, I'm back. So we were having a conversation earlier where we were just talking about, because Quan said. But we were having a conversation about just like memorable moments that we had like growing up, and we talked about like the moment we had like literally listen. Well, I don't think Tyler wasn't there, but me and Quan and Tosin like riding to school every day, and you know Tosin's brother taking us at moments in time and listening to Kanye's album.
I'm happy that you said moments in time because he ain't take us that many times.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but I specifically remember like
Yeah,
that.
no, I
moment.
remember we was in the car because y'all know your mother wouldn't let me grab the aux.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, bro. Asking to grab the
In a grown person's car.
No,
When you
but
in
it's
high
funny
school,
because
it's
I'm not gonna
crazy.
lie to you. Mom and my brother is not that far in age.
But like, that's not your car.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I'm just saying. It's
You're not even their child.
no, I know. I'm just saying. I know.
Like me going in Vimmy's car and be like, "Hey, yo, let me get that real quick."
Nah, I'm not. That's not that far off though, because Femi will let you grab the. Femi, depending if he didn't have a song that
I
like.
literally never asked, so I don't know.
I know. And this is why you
You
never
like-
got anything
or-
from him.
You You have not, because you asking.
Hey man, closed mouth don't get fed.
No, but I was talking
Why you
about.
think I always eat at your house?
Damn.
Nigga used to come through and open the fridge.
Oh,
I liked it there.
I'm like, oh damn, it was taco night, huh?
Yo, when grandma gonna restock?
Grandma, y'all got more Alfredo?
They walk in like, damn, grandma must be sick or something.
Hey, I gotta go back to my house.
You alright, grandma? I was just stopping by. All right, see you later. They be leaving like, they ain't got shit over there. No, but I was talking about that to talk about we fucking love music. We love music. We love hip hop and stuff. Or and as I still partake in listening to a lot of the new shit that's coming out. I don't know. I know Talib and Tosin, like they be kind of disjointed with like, or disillusioned with the way a lot of the new shit is coming up with. But I felt like a poignant conversation that I was having with Quan. We were talking about the Mos Def interview and how he was talking about just Drake when the person asked him like, okay, like what do you think? What is Drake? And he said, I think Drake is pop. Basically. Mm-hmm. He feels like Drake is pop. Matter of fact, I feel like I could
play the audio.
Yeah, I could play the audio of it.
I think he's telling the truth. Before you even play the clip.
Like, is Drake hip hop? I know.
Drake
Because
is
we're here
pop.
for truth. We're here for truth.
Drake is pop to me.
Right, that's fair. In the sense that it's charting like pop music, popular music.
In the sense, like, if I was in Target in Houston and I heard a Drake song, so it feels like a lot of his music is compatible with shopping.
Commercial music.
Or as
Commercial music, yeah.
shopping with an edge in certain instances. Or
Fair. I like Drake's music, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
of course, I mean,
It's
get
commercial, entertaining, fun, good,
it's
formulaic music that is
it's likable.
likable music. Yeah.
Okay, so
I was gonna say, but and like this is also because I'm trying not to make this a hip hop podcast, but this is just to also like speak to the bigger picture of this. He's speaking his truth on that situation. Granted, like I mean, I don't know. I can't say. I mean, personally, I feel like Drake is hip hop. He raps. He does music. He does music with other hip hop artists. He was founded by a hip hop artist. He is signed to a hip hop artist. But this is what I'm talking about when I say he's talking his truth. What Mos Def sees as hip hop may be different from my perspective, of your perspective, and anybody else's perspective of hip hop. That's his truth, which he's entitled to. You get what I'm saying? I mean, now, will everyone else agree? Probably, maybe not. You get what I'm saying? But like my thing now is, you go on the internet and then now everybody be like, oh yeah, Drake isn't pop, and it's like this is what the internet does. I feel like to a lot of us. We put stuff on the internet and then now people blindly follow because of so much information that it's like, okay, well, I gotta believe it now. And that's what sometimes is wrong with the internet now is we believe a lot of things that's on the internet without having any like research or factual basis behind it.
I was just gonna say, so Drake, I believe, in my opinion, Drake is hip hop. I just don't think he's just hip hop. I think he has pop elements. He has hip hop elements. He has R&B. He has R&B elements. He has Afrobeats elements. He encompasses a lot of different things, and his fan base is just so big. He just can't cater to one audience. With the Her Loss project with 21 Savage, he did majority rapping on that album. So, like Tosin said, Mos Def is most definitely entitled to his opinion. This is somebody who's a hip hop purist, somebody who's a part of Black Star,
pillar.
a pillar, somebody who made classic albums.
Black on
So
Both Sides is a
Black on Both
classic.
Sides is a phenomenal album. I'm thinking about Mathematics. I'm thinking about Miss Fat Booty. Like these are like legendary songs that by
Umi
Mos
Says.
Def. Like Umi Says, like legendary songs. So for somebody like a Kweli, a Mos Def, or a Black Thought, like these type of people, I'm thinking about just purists at their core. For them to give their opinion on, like I was sharing with Sean, giving their opinion on like a Drake, somebody who came before Drake, who people compared to Drake was is Ja Rule. For them to give their opinion on Ja Rule was doing so many different things. You get what I'm saying? It came from hip hop, but he transitioned it into different things. So I think that also to point out, also Mos Def was asked a question. You get what I'm saying? He didn't just
Kind of blatant.
I think he was asked the question, he answered it, and he gave his opinion.
No, I
this
think-
is not-
listen, I think he
this
gave-
is not this is not the hip hop he grew up on.
I think he gave his honest opinion. I think he also threw a little shade in there too.
No, he was definitely saying everything he was saying with a condescending
Yeah.
tone behind it. You know,
Cause I thought he was trying to right when he said, "Oh, why are you doing this to me?" I was like, "All right, he probably about to try to give a nice little light answer." Then he was like, it's shopping music. I'm like, Drake raps about a nice different range of things. And I'm not even a Drake stan like that. But
I think for me, like, so it was a lot of things. So when I'm thinking about I don't think that this is necessarily the conversation that's happening with Drake is on the internet, but I don't think it's an internet conversation. There has always, like, since I would say like the late 90s, you've always had this conversation of, popular artists and about like where do they fit in the landscape of hip hop? What type of artists are they? And you would have moments where you would have people that would, more the purists. There were people that was coming at Puffy and all of them back in the late 90s talking about how this the shiny suit era and how niggas is only talking about, trying to be mafioso and pop Cristal and shit like Black Thought and the Roots. They had made a whole song about that. So this is a conversation that's always been happening. When it came to Jay-Z, they were talking about Jay-Z being a hit maker but not having, a lot of substance in the music that he was making. We don't really get to see that meld of like huge pop star, well, not pop star, huge hip hop artists. The kind of like street talking shit like that, to like where you could make music that's like really fucking hard, but at the same time it's, you either talking about the community, you talking about getting fly, or you talking about just being the best at your craft or whatever. Like you get that when you're talking about Kanye. Now going back to the whole thing,
I would say around Pharrell too.
Pharrell,
I think the real. I just want to say this real quick.
I will say yes, it's more Kanye.
I think it's more Kanye because when he outsold 50, I think that was the point where it went from more of like street rap and you making a hot single, making street singles and stuff like that, to more like kind of like Backpackers, more like I don't want to say because nerd is kind of offensive, but like more like. You just didn't have to have that street element to you.
It took.
You didn't have to be a gangster. You didn't have to be involved with this street.
I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I feel like when Kanye, he elevated hip hop.
He made it more. And he made it relatable too.
He made it relatable, but I'm not gonna lie. I look at it. I don't fuck with a lot of shit that he says now. He's in a totally different space. He been saying a lot of shit that I just can't get behind. But I'm talking about as a pure artist, I have looked at a lot of his influences and what he was doing, whether it was with Yeezy, whether it was with Yeezus, he's put a certain level of paying attention to the craftsmanship and also like getting like he's always viewed hip hop as a high art. And I think going back to just the base of this point with Mos Def, I think that's the ilk that Mos Def comes from as well. Mos Def, there was nobody championing Kanye like Mos Def.
Or Kweli.
Or Kweli. They had him going on tour with him. So when he's talking about Drake, and and my biggest thing when it comes to Drake is not that Drake is not a hip hop artist. He is a hip hop artist. He's a hip hop artist. He's a pop artist. Like you say, he does reggae sometimes. This nigga does, Spanish music, whatever. But also, too, in that conversation, Mos Def ends up talking about capitalism and consumerism. And when I think about Drake, what do I think about? And I'm just being really honest. I think about Amazon. Oh, it's everything here. In that clip, he talks more about like, oh, look at everything's here, all the SKUs. I think about that when I think about Drake. Very commercialized, formulaic music. I'm not saying, and I'm saying that to say, people talk about him being the best because they look at the numbers. They're saying like, yo, look at these numbers. Look at the way he's selling. There's no one that's sold like him. And I agree. But also, too, I feel as though like, you can't tell me that this is the best person when I don't know his perspective on anything outside of the women he's sleeping with, the money he's making, or whatever petty beef he got going on. If I don't know anything about how you view the world outside of that, I'm not saying that you're a bad artist. You could be a really good artist making that music, but for me personally, as a way I consume art, I can't call you the best if you can't rap about something of substance. I haven't heard Drake make a substantive piece of music since like 2015. And I'm just being serious. If someone knows the deep cut Drake, like for like an album, but the deep cuts of Drake being introspective about anything other than women and money and petty beefs that he's had with people in the past, point me to it, because I don't see it. Yeah. And it's just like, when you talking about Kanye, Tyler, fucking Kendrick, all these people.
Cole.
I love Cole, but I can't really. But even Cole, I will say Cole. I'll say Cole as far as like introspective.
Wait, what you mean?
I feel like I would place. I'm just saying people that, for me, the people that I view as like in high esteem, where I feel like their art, the quality of shit that they're putting out is just better than the shit that Drake's been putting out. And it's just, from my opinion, like, I don't think Drake, how people could claim, I don't see people, like, there's a certain type of arrogance that people that love Drake stands have when they talk about him. And I'm like, if I don't know his views on anything in the world, and I'm not saying you have to, that's a requirement. I'm not saying it's a requirement, but if you're telling me that this guy is the best, I should at least know how he feels about something of substance. Like, that's just my viewpoint. You know, I want to know, like, give me a nuanced view of something, like a nuanced view of love, life, you know, anything. And a lot of his music, I just don't get that.
It's really something, because it kind of ties into like what we was kind of talking off camera with Tyler mentioned it. It's kind of like, Drake, his music is so digestible, just kind of how like the NBA is now. Like, it's like the views are so high with the NBA, but it's not a great product. You get what I'm saying? Not saying
I get what you're saying.
get what I'm saying.
I get
like,
where you're going to.
Drake is not saying his music is just terrible quality, but it's like, yo, is this really growing hip hop? Is this really growing rap music? Not necessarily. Is the product we're watching on an everyday basis with basketball, is this really growing the sport? Is this the best product of NBA basketball I've seen? I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I will say this though. I will say the one thing I will say, just by nature of him getting this big, like Drake being this, being this influential, and for me, in my personal opinion, being this not influential, being this big, like impactful, like he's making an impact. His numbers, you can't deny the numbers. Him being able to make this impact with the level of, in my opinion, lacking in introspective, really a lot of times not good, like people that listen to music saying like this is not the best music out here. For him to be able to do those numbers and putting out that, having that input, I think it leaves space for someone that actually can reach that status and put out great content to be able to take that and be able to like kind of work within that space. Like I feel like his impact leaves a space for someone to be able to, that has the right formula, to be able to like do like big numbers. Like, because to me personally, like I think about the shit that Kendrick's been putting out, and Kendrick is doing great numbers. Like Kendrick is doing amazing numbers. And the type of shit that he's putting out for me is in that same realm. It's high art. It's like he's being introspective. He's talking about shit that actually matters while also giving you just pure like ratchet shit.
He speaks to his fan base though.
Drake's pretty much an anomaly. Like he's black, he's Jewish. He had Lil Wayne, Birdman, Jay Prince. Like he had a lot of hands in the pot. Like University Music Group. Like there's a lot of different hands in the pots that influenced his success. Not to take away from his success or anything like that. But as far as like getting to that point of high performance and high volume of putting out a lot of different music and selling so much, it's a lot of
He has a lot of going for him.
Yes. He's not a person who people could just people could aspire to be like him, but it's like you gotta put all that into the equation.
Him starting from the bottom is different from us starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? Okay.
From the bottom, now we're here.
Oh wow.
Okay. I'm gonna close it off on this. What I was really getting at with it, and what I think when it comes to just why, from my take, just when I listen to Most talk about it, he sounds like he's not really that impressed. To me, it's about stripping back all the numbers, stripping back all the accolades and awards or whatever, and saying like, hey, let's look at your body of work and examine it and look at what you're talking about, how you're talking about it, and what is the music that you're putting out. Let's just judge the music on just music, like musically how it is, not how much it's playing in the club, not how many views it got, not how many how much you made off of it, none of that.
If it would stand the test of time.
Yeah, how many copies you sold. I don't care about none of that. Let's talk about the music that you're making and what you're saying in your raps. And when a lot of hype. It's a lot of just people telling me that he's one of the best. When I listen to the music and I'm just like, this is cool. This is alright. Is it the best shit I ever heard? No, not even close.
This is not even some of the best.
It's not even some of the best shit I've ever heard.
It's
cool.
not disrespect to Drake because we like some of Drake's music, but it's like, come on, like let's be realistic.
I think we talking more so as far as impact. Like Drake is still a great artist, nonetheless. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's not his music. Is not speaking to impact as far as like what it's doing for the work. But that's what I'm saying. It's just not necessarily speaking to the times. Like, granted, for example, and it's funny, it was MLK Day the other way. Martin Luther King is a great preacher. There was a lot of great preachers during that time. But because what he did spoke to the time and changing of people's lives, that's why he's like solidified in legacy. You know what I'm saying?
It's nuanced and everything. Like he serves a purpose.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, he's still gonna be revered as like, oh, he's a great hip hop artist. But it's like
there's always been like, to me, and the thing about it is like it's a lot of different qualifiers. It's your quality. It's how technically good you are at what you do, and like how it sounds, and like what emotions you get from it. And there are some people that like Biggie ain't fucking going on there talking about raising the black community or black power. And to me personally, it's just that the music is so undeniably good, and his skill technically as a rapper is some of the best I've ever heard. So okay, you're not rapping about really much of anything of substance, but you're so good that technically I'm like, this is good music.
But also,
There's-
oh, my bad.
when I'm talking about someone like a Kanye, I feel like I get all three. I get someone that at any given song, he can give me a message of something where he's hearkening to some piece of black culture or trying to find a way to like, for us to get out or speaking to some social cause. I could get that. I could get great beats. I could sometimes get, well, not now, but I used to get good rapping. I could get all of those things. I got everything that I needed. And for him, if I'm talking about Pac, maybe he's not the best technical rhymer, but he got a good flow, and he's talking about something, and the music slaps.
And then also with Pac, it's a feeling. Music is also a feeling. Like his music gives you a feeling. Drake music necessarily.
To a time.
Yeah,
For
it
me,
spoke to a
and, like
time,
for
right.
me, when I'm talking about Drake's, if I'm talking about how the music sound, the production is cool. Okay, the lyrics, some are cool.
Hit or miss.
Some it's hit or miss sometimes. And what you talking about, you ain't talking about shit. So if I'm kind of like, you definitely ain't talking about shit that's important to me or in my life or anything that I give a fuck about. The rapping that you're doing is hit or miss. Like
It could be
sometimes
lazy
you
at
could be,
times.
you could be all right.
It could be lazy.
And the production is okay. Sometimes it's hit or miss. It's cool. And when you talking about the hits, are the hits like anthems that I'm want to stay with? That are time capsules? Because when I remember when Power dropped, I remember how that song is still like to this day is like an anthem song. Mm-hmm. H to the Izzo. Them anthem songs. I'm not saying Drake hasn't done that in the past. I'm just talking about at least for me now, the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, I just don't hear that type of music. I hear a lot of shit that I heard when it came out then, and I let it go. Like, and it's just like, yeah, I forgot about a lot of that shit. So. We're not Rap Radar, but but I love a good conversation about hip hop and just about the arts in general. I get passionate. I love introspective art. I love art. I love how it translates in us being able to express culture and in self-expression. So yeah, but something that we were also talking about and just. It's the new year, we stepping into like a new chapter for all of us. It's talking about like what we learned from like last year. And I feel like for me personally, I learned a whole lot. My relationship grew, and it went through a lot of different phases, for me. And it kind of just, I think one of those things that I've learned as I got older is just how it is important to have like a partner. And how like a stabilizing force that could be in your life. Like I think, people. I think in this age when there's a lot of dating content and people talk about being alone and being okay to be alone, and I think it's well and it has its place. But I always at my core feel like as humans we're not meant to be alone, and like. There's a reason why like companionship is such an important thing and why we need it and why it literally could add years onto your life. And I kind of this year found out just how important that is and how like meaningful that could be for like being a pillar in your life.
I think for me, what I learned personally this year, just the importance of like brotherhood, family, like seeking out therapy, working out, and how all that ties into like a greater mental health and also connecting more to God. Like my relationship with God, I think that's really have been molding me into a better person each and every day. Each and every week I go to church. Each and every day, like I said, me praying and seeking out my relationship deeper. Talking to God and stuff. So I think all in that, and then just going through life stuff, like everyday life stuff. Like it's crazy out here. Like it's a lot of different things that's going on in the city. Like Newark. Like it's just a lot that's encompassed of being young and black in America, young and black in New Jersey, in Newark. So I think 2023 was a very important, a very enlightened, a very a very awakening year, and I think 2024 has a lot that's going to breed from this podcast. A lot's going to breed from our our brotherhood and stuff like that, and it's going to grow us all personally, especially me. So
That's beautiful. And I really see the growth specifically in you and like what you have done, and even like how it's like growing into this year, and like how everything now is like the results you have, and like producing results. Everything that you're doing now is like the real thought is behind it, like even when I see you talking about like fitness or like the word, anything, it's more like I can see you really mean it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're really genuine, like you're really intentional behind it. So I feel like that's refreshing in this age, because I feel like a lot of people, their inspirational content is more just about like reaching people, but me and you have talked a lot about this. Like you don't really care so much as far as like how many people you reach, more so than like that you have reached someone. You see, like I heard you say one time, like one person heard me, like a person who needed to hear me heard me, So even like that perspective on that is like, that's a genuine person. So I can't wait to see what 2024 will bring for you. For me, I definitely feel like 2023 was like a year of like sowing like the seeds, like, planting the seeds of like what I wanted to do. And even looking in 2024, it's like things are really growing and manifesting. Like this baby dropping in T-3 months.
You said like an album.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is my first mixtape. This my, so we gonna listen. I'm watching the whole process. Watching the process that is my marriage and how we're growing. Shout out to wifey. Just a lot of things I did with my job.
love you, Juju.
Or a lot of things I did with my job, just learning more than ever about the fire department and just trying to put like my best foot forward, to be like present in my job when I'm there, like outside, I deal with life and like, my friends and my family and trying to work out and still play ball, a video game every once in a while. But like when I'm at the fire department, it is like, okay, like this is it's my livelihood. This is my craft, like I guess like putting so much energy into like perfecting my craft and learning as much as I can about it, So I feel like even now when I'm at work, I feel more informed. I feel more prepared, With my marriage, I feel more like grounded. I feel more like it's chaotic sometimes just because it's like, dealing with emotions and like responsibilities and, new beginnings like children. But like
setting the table for like parenthood.
yeah, like I even though it's like chaotic, I feel more in control of that. I don't never really feel flustered anymore in my marriage, And then just with the idea of having children, like when I see my baby kick, it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like in 2023, like later, towards like the later end of the year, like we had started to like, see his movements more and more. But now it's like new year, new me.
Word.
Like he's moving. Like he's
stepping up.
Yeah, he active, he's responsive to like me talking to him. He clearly hears my voice. So it's like these are the things that like, we sowed in 2023, and we're seeing it all come together now. So I'm happy to see what comes next.
Mine's not gonna be crazy long. Mine's is just learning to adapt, learning to be uncomfortable, learning to be in spaces where I may not be the best, or just being ready to evolve and constantly like embracing change. That's about it. I wish I had more, but that was about it.
You sound like how a little kid gotta be when they force him up to go to go pray. I love Jesus. And I hope I have a good day. Amen. Like,
That's crazy.
But see, that's the beauty of it. You know that like each person has their own, you know, what they're going through, their own life, and you know their own perspective on things. So
nah, I feel you. Tolan's definitely one of them. Like, man, fuck all that. Let's let shit ride. let's let it rock.
Straight to the point.
Let's let it rip. So
Definitely straight to the point.
I get it. But this has been our first episode in what, probably like 3 years.
3 years, coming up
yeah,
on
like
3 years.
three, damn near 4 years. So, you know, for any, like I said from the beginning of the podcast, if you're hearing our voices and you're like, who the fuck are these people? It's Uptown Talk. We are here. We're back. But if you're listening to our voice and you hear it and it sounds recognizable to you, yes, we are back. We are making a comeback, and we are here for 2024. And be expecting episode to come out every 2 weeks. We're easing ourselves back into this thing, getting our feet wet. Like I said, this thing is literally morphing in front of you guys in real time, and we're gonna like add stuff, take stuff away, mix it around, and having you guys' feedback will be of the utmost importance. When our podcasts come out, because we're still operating everything with the Instagram, the YouTube. All that information will be gathered as time goes on, and we're gonna see you guys soon. So peace. We out.
peace.
Peace.
Love.